Today we've got a 2012 Ford Focus, and we're going to be replacing the factory stereo that has a screech and crackles. The radio's just acting really funny, so we're going to replace the old radio and put a Tesla style radio in, and so I'll show you what that looks like right now. I'm just going to do a real quick unboxing, and then the rest of the video will be the installation. So let's take a look and see what's in this box. Now this box is a little bit lightweight. Obviously this isn't a high-end unit. I think we are about $150 for this. Well, as you can see, this is the unit. This will actually improve the look of the actual car. I think the Ford Focus, to me, has a cheap look and feel to it. So I'm interested to see how this goes. As you can see, there's no vents here. We'll have to remove those from the factory bezel and put them in here. From what I gathered online, there's not a lot of, there's not really much instruction manual, but it should be pretty straightforward. Should be a plug and play. So we'll go ahead and plug in everything here. These appear to all be different size plugs right here, so we shouldn't be able to get them in the wrong spot. And I would say some of these we might not actually need, like this one, unless we do the camera, but this looks like it should plug directly into the car. And this appears to be everything that plugs in on this side. This is for CAN bus. Looks like we have a couple USB ports. I believe this is for the rear view camera. Make sure if you do end up buying this, that you get these completely seated. You could see I was able to push that in more. We have a GPS antenna. It screws in right here. And this one did come with an external microphone, and I do not see where it plugs in. I'll show you how to get the old radio out, get this new one in, and we'll go from there. So here you can see the Tesla style radio. Just for the fun of it, if you have a car like this, I do have a video putting this remote start on. But let's take a look inside the car and see what we have here. Okay, this is what the dash looks like, and just a quick overview of the installation. I think there's a little panel that pops out here. Okay, and I believe it is 2 Torx T20s that are in here. So once we have these 2 T20s out, this should just pop out, and then there will be two screws on each side to remove the whole center section, but we'll see that in just a second. We've got a couple different angles here. Obviously we've got this camera and this camera. I'm going to remove these 2 Torx bits. They are T25. And we're going to need to put it in. All right, now the next step is to start to pry this out, which apparently doesn't take much. A couple snaps there, and then here on the back side there's a plug that hopefully we can show. Hopefully you can see that right there. And that's all there is to removing this part. So now we are going to remove this whole piece, and there's a screw here, a screw here, a screw here, and a screw here. And then this whole thing should come out. Okay, we're gonna pull this whole section out. And here you can see this plug. I think you can see the plug. You push in this tab right here, and then you'll pull this down. So I'm going to try and do that and still allow you to see. So push in, pull down, and that unhooks. That throws the radio out. Then we've got a plug here, which there's a little tab. Again, hopefully I can show you that. There's a little tab right here. We're going to push it down. That unplugs. Right here, you push this down, and that unplugs. Now we've got this whole unit out, and this is what was causing our issue: crackling, popping, squealing. The car could be on or off, and it would still be making noise. So we'll get this out of here. All right, there's a couple things we need to do on this new bezel. One is going to be getting the factory vents and rotators out of here and into here. The other thing that we need to do is select which plate goes on the bottom of this one so that it can mount up the way the factory one did. So we can look at this and see these has the two holes that are toward the center, which is the same as this one. This one has basically these tabs for mounting. Let's go ahead and get those items switched over. So to remove these, we're just going to pry these out a little bit and push on them. And they're on both sides, so they could be a little tricky. Maybe not. Okay, so here is one assembly. I did notice that this was unhooked, so I'm going to try and put it back on there. It does, oh, it is broken. So there's not going to be a way to put that back on. Let's see here. I think maybe we'll get the other one out. We'll get this out of our way. And it also appears to be broken. Got that out. Let's go ahead and get our plate on the bottom. In order to do that, we need to remove these 4 screws. Okay, we'll go ahead and put these screws back. Let's go ahead and get this first one put in. It'll be right here. All right, we're hitting here. So one of two things we can do. So we can trim it here or here. I think it'll be easier to do this piece right here. See if that gives us enough clearance. Okay, so maybe this just has to come off. All right, a little finagling, and we got it in there. And it looks like we've got the same situation going on here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pre-trim this piece. And this is what it is right here. So I think as long as we get it close to flush, alright, let's see if this one will go in easy. Alright, looks like we're ready to put this in. Gonna go ahead and put this antenna adapter in. We'll go ahead and run the mic. I'll do that off camera, but I'll give you an overview once it's in place where I put it. And this will just plug in like that. That's good. So I'm gonna put the microphone up here. I'll just run down along through here, over and up to the radio. So what I did find is this harness isn't gonna be used, and this wire is not gonna be used. I still need to figure out where to run these USB cables to, but just going to try and get these tied up. And the only wire we're going to use out of this harness is going to be this microphone harness or wire. I don't think that there's anything. Somebody else that reviewed this said that that microphone doesn't even work, so we'll see if it does or not. But I think we're good with just these on the main unit here. And then when we get in the car, we'll wrap up a couple other wires. Okay, we're gonna find a place for this GPS antenna. I was gonna run the microphone. But it only comes with probably a 5-foot cable, if that. So there's no way I'd be able to run down the pillar, across, and to the back of the radio. So I think I'm just gonna poke it out right here and hope that it works and that it doesn't get in the way. So yeah, we're gonna find a spot for this GPS antenna, and hopefully you can see back here. I'm gonna shoot for that flat spot right there. We want it to be high up, as high as we can, and normally they say this is best to be mounted on metal, but we're just going to shoot for up there. Just clean that off with my fingers, leave some oils on there. It's probably not going to stay. Okay, you can see the antenna up in there. Gonna tie up some of these wires just so that it's less to deal with, and I'm gonna tie up some on the back side of that radio too. All right, like I said, I'm gonna try and get the microphone to be housed right here. So what I like to do is tie this up in a way that it's not gonna pull. So I think what I'll do is start right here, make this I think we'll be good at leaving them at that length. So we'll start hooking some of this stuff up. Get the antenna, plugs in right here. This microphone plugs in right here. We have this main harness, plugs in right here. Got the GPS antenna. It plugs in and screws in right here. What I'm going to do with these USB cables is I'm going to run them down here in case we need them. I don't think we'll pull on that until we start putting the radio in place. So now we have this plug that plugs in right here. I guess we'll probably get to that. I believe that's for the door aux, so we'll be able to test that here shortly. And then we've got this last cable. Okay, there's that. Let's go ahead and pull on the USB cables. Now we can start putting it where it goes. Locks are working. Okay. Get this back out of the way. Okay, well, I guess what we can do is turn the key on, get these screws in, and test for operation. Alright, radio's in. I'm kind of curious to see if this factory piece will fit properly. And it appears that it does.